So what does it take to heat a 20,000 square foot commercial building? Do you need a huge forced air system, or can you use something more efficient? Let's talk about it. So anytime you have a pole barn, whether it's a garage sized barn or a huge commercial building, you have to think about how you're going to heat that building. Whatever that building is going to be used for is strongly going to dictate how you're going to heat it. For instance, this 20,000 square foot warehouse is mostly going to be used for storage. So temperatures really just need to stay under scalding hot and above freezing. So relatively simple to maintain that temperature. Now you couple that need with insulating everything with spray foam, closed cell on the walls, open cell on the ceiling for this particular warehouse. That dramatically helps whatever service you put in place to control those temperatures. Now you might think just because of the size of this building, you need a huge forced air system in place to maintain those temps, but that's not the case. In actuality, this building right here, combined with the insulation that is just installed, radiant tube heaters suspended from the ceiling is actually all that it's going to take to maintain the temperatures in here. And of course, because it's insulated, it helps cut down on any heat penetrating during the warmer months. This factor is crucial when you think about the overall cost of putting up a pole barn. Obviously, there's a lot of things that come into play. You know, from your excavation to your framing and getting everything finished, obviously insulating, wiring, plumbing, all these other things. When you think about your utilities, your heating and your cooling, if you can save money on one aspect, especially if you use like a foam insulation applied to the walls and ceiling, and you ultimately can use a smaller system to control the temperatures, again, not only is that upfront cost lower because of the unit size or the system itself, but now your occurring costs every month are going to be less because it's a smaller and more efficient system. So much like you might have when you're building a new house, you run something called a manual J. It's just a test that tells you how big or how small of a heating and cooling system you need for that home. You can really look at your pole barn the same way, is that just because of the size of the building, you may not need a huge system. Again, for this huge warehouse, these radiant heaters suspended from the ceilings more than enough to maintain the temperatures needed for the goals of this property owner. So again, the point is, anytime you have a pole barn, whether it's the size of a garage or a large warehouse, think about what's going all into the construction. If you're putting something like foam, creating that building envelope, you may not need a huge forced air furnace system to keep those temperatures maintained. You can probably use something far more efficient. So if you want to learn more about insulating pole barns, please go to the link below to our learning center, where we have all kinds of videos, articles, and blogs, everything you need to know about foam insulation. This is the Professor of Foam reminding you that building is a science.